So this week, a little different. DB is going first. So
Yes. So my thing of the week, I had not realized that the Konosuba light novel series was actually over. I was telling Daniel before the show, I've been in a habit for years now of just pre-ordering it whenever it came up and then reading it later. So I was always 2 or 3 volumes behind. And then I noticed, there's no next volume. This can't be the end, can it? And yes, the answer was yes, it could.
mm,
I cannot tell you how shocked I was that the series actually ended. It's the only light novel series I really follow regularly.
mm.
And I also can't tell you how shocked I was that the series actually ended with them fighting the Demon King.
Oh wow.
Like, okay, so for those who might not be aware, Konosuba is it's like Konosubarashi something something. It's like God's blessing on this wonderful world. Isekai, but it's like I call it one of the few good isekai insofar as the main character struggles, the characters have personality.
Mhm.
He isn't super powerful, and he basically has on paper the one of the best teams in the world to help him out, but in practice they all have a severe personality and skill defects that make his life miserable.
Yes, like darkness, for example. That's the blonde and the on the in there is a total masochist.
Yes, she is a defensive character because she wants to get beat up.
hmm
So she has put no points into her attacks, which would have been really handy a bunch of times. But what they do with it is kind of interesting because, this especially comes to the fore in the last book, is just how these characters stupidly maximizing themselves because it's an RPG world, so they have points to put into things.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, kind of pays off because darkness can survive shit that should be impossible. Megamine knows one spell, which is Explosion, which is like seen as the world's biggest overkill spell because it usually knocks out the user.
Mm,
But the opening of the book is pretty hilarious because she gets a hold of something called Magitite, which basically is like concentrated magical energy. So she's able to like launch 100 of them in chain with some amusing effects.
ah.
And Aqua ran away, and that's why the whole plot happened. Like the only reason that they ended up actually fighting the end boss was because Aqua ran away to go try and fight the end boss, but she thought that they would catch her before she got there. Because Aqua's main flaw is being a complete idiot.
Yeah.
But so the positives, I enjoyed Kazuma's battle with the end boss. They had a lot. Every character got a kind of a last hurrah,
Mm,
including some characters who hadn't been seen for a bit in the series. So that was nice.
mm,
Um, Flaws, they teased romance throughout the series. I'm just gonna mild spoiler here. I'm
mhm.
pretty sure Kazuma got the harem ending, but I don't think. But it's not entirely explicit that he got the harem ending
Ah, okay.
because he's extremely close to Megumin, and darkness is clearly besotted with him. But it's not
Mhm.
clear what the resolution there is because it ends a little
Yeah.
bit too fast for that.
Ah, all right.
So, and I'm not usually in favor of the harem ending, but darn it, this time around, I think that it might actually be the only way to go.
Yes, yes.
But so would I recommend this series? Yes. The prose isn't the best because it's translated and it's probably translated from something that would be like Japanese NetSpeak or like Japanese fanfiction.net level writing,
Mm,
at least from a mechanics perspective. So
yeah,
you
yeah.
kind of have to make some allowance for it. But yeah, I don't regret reading it over the years. It's been fun to turn back to occasionally.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Very cool. Yeah, I've watched some of the anime. I kind of dipped out after an episode. I can't remember why, but yeah, I kind of want to go back and watch it because it is fairly clever. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
your typical isekai. Yeah.
The weird thing is that like watching season one after reading the books, they did some weird stuff. Like there was a character who was actually very integral to the series, who they cut out her introductory episode and then just had her be there and and then had a flashback to briefly show her introduction in that episode. It it'd be like in an Avengers movie if I don't know some character named Captain Marvel randomly showed up. And she had never interacted with any of the characters before, but they accepted that she was around.
Mm.
Yeah, in fact, it went. I like that one
Yeah.
about equal levels of natural.
Ah.
So this is
Yeah.
one where you do occasionally have to go read the light novel, but a third
Okay.
season is on the way. So if you
Oh,
prefer that way,
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. Worth checking out.
yep.
All right. So now on to my thing of the week with the Queen. Uh, the late, I should say, the late Queen.
Hmm.
Because unless you've been living under a rock, she passed away a couple of months ago. Um,
What's the meme? There is no Easter Bunny, there is no Tooth Fairy, and there is no
There is
Queen
no
of
Queen of
England.
England. Yeah, well, there won't be a Queen of England probably for a very long time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So season 5 of The Crown dropped on Netflix. This is their dramatization series about the Queen and the royal family. Uh, if you haven't watched the show before, how they do it is the first 2 seasons. Well, actually, every 2 seasons they change out actors because
Hmm.
of for age reasons because because they get they're not old enough to play the character anymore.
Right, they
So
skip ahead a couple decades.
yes,
I gotcha.
yeah. So like the first 2 seasons was her in her 20s and 30s, and then seasons 3 and 4 were her middle years, and then seasons 5 and 6 are her later years. So we're in her later years now, and she's played by she's played by Dolores Umbridge from the Harry Potter movies. So that was a little jarring, but and then Jonathan Pryce, who played he was uh, Keira Knightley's father in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He's Prince Philip. The guy who plays Charles, he looks familiar, but I can't place him. And then the actress playing Diana, she was in Guardians of the Galaxy. She's the real tall gold woman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't remember her. I can't remember the name of the actress, but she's like 6'2" or 6'3". She's very
Okay.
tall.
So she was not standing on any stilts for that movie.
No, she was not.
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that Diana was 5'10".
Hmm.
So she was a very tall woman. But yeah, so this season picks up where things are really kind of it's in the early 90s, and it's when things are really starting to kind of fall apart for the royal family, especially all the
Hmm.
marriages. You got Charles and Diana having their issues.
Right.
You had Andrew and Fergie having their problems, and then Anne, Princess Anne, the daughter, she was having her marital issues, and it's just a lot of things, not going very well for them. But of course, the queen is the queen, and she still, has to, you know, maintain a certain, decorum and all that stuff. Which is basically the crux of the show. If you haven't watched it before, it's basically her being monarch, being the head of state in a changing world, changing Britain. Britain's becoming more
Hmm.
democratic, and people are thinking the monarchy is becoming outdated, and all that good stuff.
So where can one watch this?
Netflix,
Okay, I thought it was a Netflix show.
yeah, yeah, and but it's I will say they kind of a problem they had with the previous season little
Mhm.
too much Charles and Diana for my taste, for my
Yeah, well,
preference.
the world was obsessed with that at the time, so I guess it
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. But there was a very interesting. There was one episode in there it's almost like filler, but I thought it was interesting where it was about Muhammad Al Fayed, who was an Egyptian businessman who makes his way in through England. He buys Harrods, the department store,
Hmm.
and of course, his son. You probably heard of his son, Dodi Fayed, who eventually become Diana's boyfriend after she and Charles
Okay, I was
divorce.
wondering.
Yeah, um, but little known fact about Dodi was that he was a movie producer.
Hmm.
He was the executive producer on Chariots of Fire.
Huh, that's a random connection.
Yeah, and there's actually a scene in the episode where they're filming the opening uh, scene on the beach where they're all running on the beach. They're showing them filming that scene, and the Dodi and Muhammad, his father, are there watching them filming it.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it's but I mean, this is I mean, a typical autobiographical thing. They tend to play a little uh, fast and loose with historical accuracy because they have to do it for dramatic purposes and
I got the
you know
drama.
yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, uh, if you're interested in the royal family, definitely worth a watch. If you're not, you're probably not going to get much out of it. So,
Okay,
yeah.
well, the, so making a little bit of noise here so that we have a way to cut off this part of the video.